June 17, 1972. In the middle of the night, 5 men are arrested inside a quiet office building in Washington, D.C. They weren't thieves looking for money. They were trying to break into the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee. At first, it seemed like a small political burglary, but within 2 years, this break-in would expose one of the biggest political scandals in history. A scandal that would destroy a presidency. A scandal that would force the most powerful man in America, Richard Nixon, to resign. This is the story of Watergate scandal, the scandal that shook the United States and changed politics forever.
To understand Watergate, we first need to understand the man at the center of it, Richard Nixon. Born in 1913 in California, Nixon grew up in a modest family. He was known as extremely ambitious and intensely competitive. After serving in World War II, Nixon entered politics and quickly rose through the ranks. In 1952, he became vice president under Dwight D. Eisenhower. But Nixon's political journey was not smooth. He lost the 1960 presidential election to John F. Kennedy. 2 years later, he lost the California governor race. Many believed his political career was finished, but Nixon didn't give up. In 1968, during a time of war, protests, and chaos in America, Nixon ran for president again. This time, he won. And in 1969, he became the 37th president of the United States.
The early years of Nixon's presidency were turbulent. America was deeply divided over the Vietnam War. Protests were erupting across the country. Trust in the government was falling. Nixon believed enemies were everywhere: political opponents, journalists, activists, even members inside the government. To protect his presidency, Nixon created a secret group inside the White House. They were called the Plumbers. Their mission? Stop leaks, spy on enemies, and protect Nixon at any cost. But what started as political paranoia would soon spiral into criminal conspiracy. On June 17, 1972, 5 men broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters. The office was located inside the Watergate complex. Their goal was to install listening devices and steal political information. But something went wrong. A security guard noticed tape on a door lock and called the police. Within minutes, the burglars were arrested. At first, it seemed like a minor crime, but investigators soon discovered something strange. The burglars had connections to Nixon's re-election campaign. Suddenly, this was no ordinary burglary. 2 journalists from the Washington Post began investigating the story. Their names were Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein. What they discovered shocked the nation. Money used by the burglars was linked to a secret political fund connected to Nixon's campaign. The investigation revealed a pattern of corruption, illegal spying, political sabotage, and secret payments to silence witnesses. Woodward and Bernstein had a secret source inside the government, known only as Deep Throat. This mysterious insider guided them through the investigation. His famous advice? Follow the money. And when they did, the trail led closer and closer to the White House. The biggest crime in Watergate wasn't the break-in. It was the cover-up. Members of Nixon's administration began trying to hide the truth. Witnesses were pressured. Evidence was destroyed. Money was paid to keep people silent. Eventually, the investigation reached the United States Senate Watergate Committee. During the hearings, a shocking revelation emerged. A former White House aide testified that Nixon had a secret recording system in the Oval Office. Every conversation, every meeting, recorded. These tapes could prove whether Nixon was involved in the cover-up, but Nixon refused to release them. The battle between the president and investigators had begun. In October 1973, the investigation reached a boiling point. The special prosecutor demanded the White House tapes. Nixon refused. Instead, he ordered the Attorney General to fire the prosecutor. But something unexpected happened. The Attorney General refused and resigned. The next official refused too and resigned. Finally, the prosecutor was fired anyway. This shocking event became known as the Saturday Night Massacre. The American public was outraged. Trust in Nixon collapsed, and calls for impeachment began.
In 1974, the Supreme Court of the United States ordered Nixon to release the tapes. When investigators finally listened to them, they found the evidence. One recording proved Nixon had helped plan the cover-up just days after the break-in. This tape became known as the smoking gun. The president had lied, and now the truth was undeniable.
Facing almost certain impeachment by the United States Congress, Nixon made a historic decision. On August 8, 1974, he announced his resignation. The next day, he left the White House, becoming the first and only U.S. president to resign from office. Vice President Gerald Ford became president. Soon after, Ford officially pardoned Nixon, but the damage had already been done. The Watergate scandal changed America forever. It showed that even the most powerful leaders are not above the law. It strengthened investigative journalism, and it forced new laws to increase government transparency. A single break-in uncovered a massive conspiracy and destroyed a presidency, because sometimes the truth cannot stay hidden forever.